The reason why I'm running for mayor is I've been here off and on since 1978. I've been here permanently, rather, since 1995. I was brought here by a television station here in the market. And after I worked there for a couple of years, I started working at D.C. General Hospital. Stayed there for about 3 years. And then from there, I went to the Housing Authority. From that experience and from where I come from, I was born into poverty. My mother was a single mother who raised us on basically a strict diet of discipline, education, and deferred gratification. So that's my background. Welfare, food stamps, I know it all when it comes to that. Because I was on a radio show the other day and they asked me about my platform to address the root causes of generational poverty. And they said, well, what do you know about generational poverty? You used to be on television as a news reporter. I know a lot about it. And that's the reason why I'm running for mayor. There's tremendous amount of poverty here in Washington, D.C., in pockets of our city. And you get to know them intimately from working with them in healthcare and in the public housing authority. So that's what we want to do. We want to attack the root causes of generational poverty here in D.C.
Where do you feel our current mayor has failed, and what solutions would you bring to those areas where you feel he has either failed or fallen short?
I've got some different ideas. I think as far as our current administration is concerned, when it comes to creating jobs here in Washington, we have the highest unemployment rate since the late 70s, and that needs to be addressed. And that's one reason why I'm in this race, because I have a plan to take it on. There are 30,000 undocumented workers here in Washington, D.C., working in jobs in our construction, service, and hospitality industries. Those jobs used to be.
How do we know that's 30,000?
That figure was brought to us by the Pew Foundation, P-E-W Foundation. And it's also been reported in several other areas. But the issue is, if we're going to address the root causes of generational poverty and train people, they have to go somewhere to work at the end of the day.
You want the city to aggressively go against immigrants who are not documented. You want a law passed that anyone who does business, a private company or the government itself, will have to check their federal immigration status before they can work in the city?
Absolutely. There are about a dozen states in the United States that use a program called E-Verify. It was created by the Social Security Administration and also Homeland Security. And it basically works like this. When you go on a job, you fill out the application. If the numbers kick you back as being undocumented, you can't work in that state. And that's what we need to do here in Washington, D.C. There's tremendous amount of unemployment in Ward 8, nearly 40%. But then if you look on the other side of the city in Ward 3, it's only 2%. So we basically have two separate cities here.
That hasn't changed for 30 years.
Exactly. So we got to get ahead of this by creating programs where we're training people, giving them technical skills, vocational skills, and putting them in a pipeline to employment.
By going after the people you describe as illegal immigrants, I think you just lost the Latino vote in the city. That doesn't concern you.
It would be very unfortunate. It would be very unfortunate if they took it and said it's a Latino issue. It's not a Latino issue. Now, I'm glad you brought it up like that.
I was about to say, how would you then try to win the Latino vote?
Because here's the deal. E-Verify doesn't target any particular people or nationality. E-Verify basically says if you're from Canada, north, south, east, or west, Asia, it could be.
How many illegals do we have from Canada?
But the point is,
the bulk of the population that's
the point is, it doesn't discriminate. And if it is the bulk of the population, undocumented workers happen to be Central Americans, that's fine. I'm not saying that there aren't Asians here that are illegal. There are Africans here that are illegal. There are probably some Europeans here that are illegal that stayed long past their student visas. Everyone is going to be held accountable, and we're going to hold these businesses accountable for hiring.